How is Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey? This is Exasperating Nerd Explains. I say Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey because it is certainly his take on the well-known epic, as you feel his tendencies in it, and he also changed the heart of the tale significantly to suit his central theme. It seems ridiculous to say spoilers for a tale that is thousands of years old, but some of this is specific to this adaptation, so yes, spoilers. It is a good film, full stop. I saw it in IMAX, and I can't imagine seeing it in a normal theater. If you are going to see it, take the trip and see it in IMAX. It looks great. Yes, the armor is wrong. Yes, he's on a Viking ship for some reason. Yes, there's language that feels off for the setting and the time. But when you are in the moment, it works, and you are along on this journey. It weaves together the different parts of the story into a very satisfying conclusion. The biggest change is to the titular character of Odysseus. Instead of a classical hero, he is a protagonist with inner turmoil. Instead of celebrating his guile and wit, he is racked by guilt and PTSD. Instead of his hubris hindering him, he is conflicted over violating his personal honor. It is a modern interpretation of a pagan hero that includes all the exterior barriers to his return, but his greatest barrier is the inner conflict. The central point of the movie is Zeus's law, that you must treat strangers as if they were gods in disguise, so you are not possibly struck down. It's about honor, trust, and self-preservation, because everyone has to follow these norms. Odysseus at his best exemplifies this, even going so far as to pluck his bow so it makes a sound when hunting to give his prey a chance to escape or retaliate. Nolan's love of nonlinear storytelling here works extremely well, seeing the fall of Troy and Odysseus' return journey to Ithaca, where Zeus's law is violated by essentially everyone they encounter. Some of it is from apparent monsters, but the first village thought they were the Sea People, who are reportedly a new threat, people coming from the sea and attacking villages, violating this law. This all culminates in a confessional scene, complete with an obscuring barrier, as Odysseus, in disguise, confesses to Penelope that it was Odysseus who violated Zeus's law, that the armies who conquered Troy are the Sea Peoples. They came onto the beaches outside Troy and offered a supposed gift in their defeat, violating Zeus's law and, in his mind, shattering it for all time. Much like the conclusion in Oppenheimer, where Oppenheimer thought maybe they had ended the world with the atomic bomb.
Albert, when I came to you with those calculations, we thought we might start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world.
I remember it well. What happened?
I believe we did.
Odysseus thinks his gross violation of societal norms has doomed the entire civilization. This guilt is the dominating factor and partly keeping him from going home. This focus means other aspects of the character are removed or toned down. How Odysseus turned down immortality in order to return home. In this version, he willingly eats the lotus flower. It's all in service of focusing on the theme of Zeus's law, but the original character is quite different in that sense. That being said, this character of Odysseus, as shown in this adaptation, works well within the narrative and the theme that it creates. And the scenes in Ithaca help build the tension and irritation at the abuse of his family from the suitors taking advantage of Zeus's law. The conclusion, after Odysseus strings the bow and plucks it, just like we have seen him do before, was such a good and satisfying moment after all that buildup. As I said, when it works, it really is quite good, but there are some things that did just take me out. Odysseus' men ask the witch Circe for food, and she tells them to put their armor and weapons outside, and they do so. We see them look at a pile of old armor and weapons that others had clearly left behind that are overgrown in the brush, and they weren't suspicious at all. It was like the scene from the Simpsons version.
Drink from my cauldron.
Well, I was in the mood for something bubbling. Out of the way, Slim.
It could be, oh, they're supposed to believe in Zeus's law, absolutely, but this is after the Cyclops, so they've already seen it violated, so I don't know. Maybe the clever Odysseus should have built the Trojan horse slightly inland so a bunch of soldiers wouldn't drown when the tide came in. And it wasn't watertight, so the corpse soup that would have leaked out as they moved it around, in addition to the excrement from the soldiers trapped inside for days, would have been fairly rank and obvious to the Trojans. It was slightly Monty Python and the Holy Grail-esque, considering how every time after they landed, they ended up retreating and running away. When they went to the Charybdis whirlpool or six-headed monster decision, it looks like you could have just gone left of the whirlpool. They weren't hemmed in and had to go that way. The sound was a problem in a few parts. It was just too much noise and ambience and sound effects and music. A few lines of dialogue I simply could not hear, even though I was paying complete attention and the theater was quiet apart from the movie. It's just a problem he has now and then, and he just needed another pass or something because some of it is just too much. A lot of internet content has been generated in the casting decisions, and overall I thought most everyone was pretty good. For the people criticizing the Helen of Troy as a beauty, it's clear that's just an excuse to launch a war in this version, and she also has a twin, unlike in the original, so she's not even a unique beauty. Zendaya works as the vision of Athena, or simply PTSD hallucinations maybe, depending on your interpretation. At the end it is revealed someone who looks like her was beheaded at the same time during the sacking of Troy, while the statue of Athena was beheaded, so those two are linked in Odysseus' mind. Elliot Page did not work though, and I'm confused about the story of Sinon since he's not in the Odyssey, but he is in the Aeneid, Divine Comedy, but in the movie he looks like he's 10 when he's drafted, which means Sinon would be 20 or so at the beginning of the movie. Maybe Sinon is supposed to be older, but the kid did not look it, which maybe they cast that child after casting the tiny out-of-place older version of the character. Sinon also took the place of Achilles in Hades in this version to tie together with making Robert Pattinson a terrible person, so it is heavily involved in the overall story, more than it would be otherwise, and did kind of stick out in that sense. This is good cinema, in the sense it's a good movie, well done, has a lot of weight to it, but it's not the type of movie I'm really planning to sit down and enjoy again anytime soon. It certainly has some flaws, and someone needs to talk to Nolan about his sound obsession, but I'd probably still say 8 out of 10. What did you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this type of review, also let me know. You can subscribe to the channel to see more content like this in the future. Please like the video and share it with others. Thanks for watching. Bye.